Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. This is going to be going over my favorite ultimates in the game. Right off the bat we have Supernova Cooler. Now there are two versions of this move. This is again Cooler's version. It does about 20k, just a 1k short. Now I actually like this move because of my history with it. Back in the day, this was the go-to move on Limitations Ranked. This was before they made Dragon Dashing free. As you saw right there, the move, if it hits any surface, just like any ball moves in this game, kind of just dissipate. Now, back in the day, you couldn't just Dragon Dash, so you would break someone's stamina, knock them back, and then throw the move just like that. And because of its speed and tracking, the move would always hit, pretty much getting you the win. So it was a good 5-bar ultimate, and against with limitations on, you only had about 5 bars, so you had to fully commit to the move to get it off, so it wasn't broken in any way. It was more of like, this is your cool ultimate move. Now, nowadays, in order to get it off, you would actually have to use like another super attack. But let's move on to our next move, Dragon Fist. Now, Dragon Fist is going to do a lot less on my character, because I only have about 90 in my strike points. Well, comparatively in my Ki Blast, I have about 200. So you could definitely get this to do about 16 to 17k if you have a 200 strike build on it, if I'm saying. 20k if you're using a strike-based character. Now, what makes Dragon Fist actually kind of interesting, I'm going to show you here in just a little bit, is that it generates very, very little stamina before the dragon actually hits. So basically, how you want to use this move is before a stamina break. So when they have about 0 stamina, you're gonna go ahead and do a combo, and I fired the wrong move. Hold on, let's give that another try. But basically, what you're wanting to do is when they have 0 stamina, you're gonna go for the move before you stamina break them, so that way you can basically get an ult for free. As you can see here, it barely generated in time, but I did a bit of a combo beforehand, and the move will just work. Now, something to note though is that it works like an animation, so once the dragon hits, you can no longer evasive or limit burst to get out of it. So that is just something to note. You can even use this at the end of a stamina break if you want to seal the deal and do more damage. And it's just a really cool looking move. Now, in extreme lag, you can also get it to where your opponent can't evasive or limit burst at any point after the kick. I don't know why or the conditions you'd have to do in order to get that to happen, and it's really rare, but that's just something to know if you ever get hit by Dragon Fist and you're like, oh, I can't vanish and I can't evasive and I wasn't hit by the dragon, what the heck? That would be why. Next up, we actually have a very niche move. It's Serious Bomb. Now, a lot of people know this move more for Fu's version, which is definitely a lot better, but this used to be one of my go-to moves. As you can see, the move is kind of bugged. Sometimes the uppercut just won't hit, and more importantly, online, in extreme lag. It'll actually lose tracking when you throw the ball. That's really rare. I don't know why people don't use this move outside of that. Again, you have to be in really, really crappy lag in order for that to happen. Most of the time it'll work, and it does a lot of damage. It also generates very, very little stamina. I think overall it only generates about a bar of stamina in an opponent if you were to hit them with it and they have nothing. And you can use it in a combo, kind of like how you're using Black Kamehameha or Kamehameha Rose. You would basically just use it mid-combo. As you can see, that combo counter went up, and then the ball hits, and as you see, they don't even have 2 bars, so they can't vanish out of it. And it did about 20k. I mean, this move's insane. I love it. I should definitely use it in one of my builds in the future, but it's just an insanely good move that just has a few quirks as to why I believe people don't use it. And as you can see here, even if you do miss the uppercut, they might recover in time to get back up, but the ball has really good tracking, so you could still be able to use it in a stamina break. I just would recommend not, and just using it when they have very little to no stamina. With that being said though, let's go ahead and give it another retry with the stamina broken. As you can see, the fist will pretty much miss if they're like flat on the ground, but yeah, it's still a good move. I just wouldn't bet on doing it during a stamina break. Okay, Next up, we have Grand Smasher. This is my favorite green move in this game. You can be either between 3 to 4 bars of ki. With 4 bars, it's about 14k, and with about 4 bars, it's going to be 16k. Just to put that in perspective, a Super Kamehameha on my character would do about 15k. So using 4 bars is just slightly stronger, but it's also anti-limit burst. If you do that 4 bar version, and you time it right, it'll actually go through the limit burst, doing a bit of extra damage. You also don't need a stamina break in order to do it. Now, I wouldn't chance it on doing it when on a light knockback, like I'm going to show you right here. Oh, sorry, this is the long knockback. On the long knockback, as you can see right here, the move will work and do your combo, and it's really good. I am going to showcase here on a light combo that it won't work. Yeah, so zero stamina on him, and in a light combo, it will just whiff. There are some ultimates where you can do that. This is not one of them. This is kind of like Final Flash Daima, where you want to do it on a long knockback, and it'll work. A few male Saiyans have this, but as you can see here, like even at the top of the ceiling, we will not get it connect, but it is a very fast move too. As you can see here, we'll be able to fire it off and pretty much get the move to explode before it even has half his stamina back. So if you have enough ki to waste on it, you can fire it twice. Next up, we have another strike move. Now this is Instant Severance. This is one of the very few strike-based ults I just love. I love all of Zamasu's moves. It was kind of a shame we didn't get his moves in the DLC he was released in. We had to wait, I think, 2 or 3 DLCs to get it, but definitely worth the wait. There's some of the coolest moves in the game. I wish it was ki-based. I know his festival variation is, but it's just a really cool move. Now, there are things to note with it. For one, even though it's that like giant scythe wave of black energy, it's not like forever distance. It can miss, and if you fire it against someone that's like all the way across the map, it just won't hit. Now, keep in mind, I would ignore the damage on these. I'm not a straight character. The damage inputs would be drastically different. But as you can see here, even on the smallest map in this game, it can't go from end to end. It just won't do it. Now this definitely is one of those moves that's more aura rather than damage outbase. Next up, we're gonna have Pendulum Bullet. Now this move has several damage inputs. Just firing it right off the bat, only using 3, it's going to be 11k. Again, that's like 4k weaker than a Super Kamehameha. But if we were to fire all 6, now it's going to do about, I believe, 20k. Yeah, 22k, which is right around the range of a 6-bar ult damage it should be doing. But something to note about this move is that you can do it when they have no stamina. You can do it off of a light knockback. It's just an insane move. I used it on 18 in one of my latest videos. Something to note is that pretty much any knockback you have can go into it. It's just a crazy move. I mean, you can kill them with just a rush of it, expending 3 bars, doing 10k, or you can just throw it right off the bat, doing 10k, or you can extend the move for whatever length you want, increasing its damage all the way up to 22k. It's just a crazy move to do, and it's personally one of my favorite ultimates. Definitely one of the better DLC ultimates. And it just looks great. I'm glad we did get this move. I think Sadistic 18 would have been another cool move to have been added in the game, but honestly, if I were to pick between that and this, I would have picked this, just because I'm a ki-based character. Now the move does also last pretty lengthy though. I wouldn't recommend doing it during the stamina break. As you see, just using all 3 bars and then throwing the move, he pretty much gets all of his stamina back, and Trunks is only like a moderate. He doesn't have the lowest amount of stamina or the highest. Okay, our next move is going to be Hell Splash. Now, when they originally buffed this move, this was the craziest move in the game, because it only cost 3 bars to do, but it did about 20k damage. I mean, look at that, 21k. That rivaled what Pendulum Bullet was doing for 6 bars of ki, and this only costs 3. Now, something to note is that pretty much every single version of our knockdowns for the female Saiyans can work on this map as long as there's a ground and you aren't like at the very ceiling of the map. So it also goes pretty fast, as you see. I don't think we drained his stamina. We just fired it right off the bat after breaking his stamina when he had max, and it's still finished before he got all of his stamina back. So another thing to note though is that the pillar, the very first pillar it fires, actually has tracking. So even if you do miss, there is a chance that the beams will hit him, especially since they pop up all around the map, making it even better on smaller maps. I mean, even if that move missed and he was able to get up to walk, there was like no room for him to move anywhere. He would have been hit by the move. Just all around an insane move. I believe I showed this on our Baby Vegeta video that I did recently, but you don't have to break your opponent's stamina if you know the right heavy knockdown combo to do it in. Fem Saiyans don't only have a lot of heavy knockdowns, they have knockdowns. As you can see here, that just won't cut it. They'll be able to recover in time, but if you are playing a race that you know has a heavy knockdown that they can't recover from, or are using just a move, I would recommend doing it. Now, as you can see here, that was just a regular knockdown. He just recovered in one of the beams, which is why I didn't do the full 20k. Okay, next up, I believe you'll have seen this in my yellow build. I love Apocalyptic Burst, and I'm not a strike builder at all. I do believe its variation is like a mix between both, where the Rasengan bit is key-based, and everything else is strike-based, which is why I'm still able to do okay-ish damage with it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool move. Now, something to note with it is that you can actually charge it to where they can break guard. I don't think you'll ever find anyone who is standing still long enough to where you can fire it, especially since it has no armor. Someone can punch you in the face if they see you charging it, and it'll just drop the move. So I really don't recommend using it that way. How I would recommend using it is to just break their stamina and knock them down, and then just use some of your stamina to vanish towards them, and then charge the move. Again, you can watch this in my build videos, but that's pretty much the best way to use it. You could try to use this during a combo, but you would have to be really laggy. It typically does not work if you use it in any form of your combos. It's too slow if you were to just hit someone and then go for it, and if you wait until you knock them away and then do like a vanish to go for it, it'll miss and whiff. I'll show it right here, but as you can see, the move just does not connect at all. I would not recommend doing it that way. I recommend to just, again, break their stamina and then go for it. As you can see here though, I'm playing offline and the move just will not connect whatsoever. Really cool move though. And yeah, as you can see, just break their stamina. You use a little bit of stamina advantage right next to them. Costs you about a bar, and it'll be able to connect that way. Okay, next up we have Excellent Full Course. Now this is a move you get from Android 21. It does really good damage, going up to, I believe, about 16k. Yeah, 16k, which is about a little bit more than a Super Kamehameha. And you can actually use this move in knockbacks. The one problem with this move though is that it recovers a ton of stamina. I mean, if you use this on someone and they have 0 stamina, more than likely they'll not only get it all back, but even if they're like a cast character with a 3-bar amount for stamina, they'll recover more than enough to get out. So this is one of those moves where you kind of want to just use it to force someone to lose their stamina, to reset it, so that way you can basically get out punishment free and they just lose their stamina, or you use it during stamina break. You just got to be cautious because the move also takes a really long time. But as you can see here in this one combo string, before the move initiated, he had like I want to say about half a bar of stamina, and he ended up getting like 3 of it back. So I would not recommend using it that way. Use it during a stamina break, like right here. Again, we got his stamina all the way to 0, broke it, and then fired it. And as you can see, he nearly gets all of his stamina back. Next up, we have Meteor Burst. This move has 2 damage inputs. The first one doing about 17k, and then we're going to go ahead and do a fully charged one. That wasn't right. Hold on, I think I'm going to have to do that again. Yeah, that was only 17k. A fully charged one should do a little more than 20k damage, which again is pretty insane for a 3-bar move. Yeah, 19k. Just keep in mind 6-bar ults were showing to do about 20-ish k. So just for a 3-bar move that you can fire off whenever you'd like, it is an insane move. Not to mention, fires off exceedingly fast and finishes really quick too. He doesn't even have half his stamina back yet, and it's already over. And if you would like, you can even extend it by firing a super after it. I believe I've shown this in my builds before, but yeah. And you can even use super souls to get this one ult to do about 40k. So it is an insane ult. Definitely one of my favorites. I honestly don't know why I don't have it in one of my builds. It's definitely a move worthy of it. If you have not used Meteor Burst before, I highly recommend it. I feel like it has like the same default option though, where if there's not a map with a floor on it, I wouldn't recommend using it, mainly because the length of maps that don't have floors all the way for that drop down is longer, and they'll recoup more stamina. So just keep in mind, use it like Hell's Flash. Maps gotta have a floor. Okay, next up we have both Time Space Impact and Chaos Impact. Now, the reason I have these two moves together is because they are borderline the same move. One just costs more and gets charged from using a super, but keep in mind if you're not using the super, one costs 5, the other one costs 6. And now as you saw right there, Time Space Impact did about 12k, and I believe Chaos Impact with no charge does about 14k, and if you expend all the amount of key bars you need to fully charge it, it does about 20k, which honestly is the damage it should do since it's a 6-bar move, but we'll get into that later. The main point of using these moves is for combos. They both work like grabs. I will say that Chaos Impact has better tracking than Time Space, but Time Space is way faster and generates way less stamina. Time Space Impact generates about, I want to say about 3/4 of a key bar, kind of like Dragon Fist, while Chaos Time Impact is about double, and due to the length, it just lasts so long. It is a very long ultimate, even though it doesn't generate that much stamina for the length of the move. Just keep in mind, if it's getting close to time, I would not bet on doing all your damage off this move. If you're just using them flat out, I prefer Time Space Impact, because Chaos is more of a novelty move that you want to use either in a combo build, like how I showed in my Chronos build, where you can use it off of moves like Vanishing Ball, or if you're just using the Dark Inscription. If you're not using either or, I honestly would not recommend it over Time Space. Time Space is just better. Okay, next up we have Divine Ray Bomb. Now this move is horrendously awful. So as you can see here, it does about 12k, and you have a laugh animation at the end of it. What this means is that not only is it weaker than Super Kamehameha, it doesn't have good tracking like Trunks' Burning Strike move, which just teleports behind someone, kicks them, and grabs them. It can actually miss if your opponent is standing perfectly still and you fire it. So it's definitely a move you need to fire during a stamina break. It takes really long. It doesn't generate that high of amount of stamina. As you can see here, by the time the ball hit, it only generated about 1.5 bars of stamina. So your opponent has to have 0 if you want to get the move to work without breaking them. So you pretty much can't use a combo and then go into it. You have to fire it when their stamina is broken, and as you can see here, they almost have all of their stamina back, and you're doing virtually no damage. Anyway, getting back to my point, with the laugh, that's a really important factor I would like to mention as well, because if your opponent evasives out of it, you're still in an animation and they can still punish you. So I just want you to keep that in mind. This move is literally just you posing on them. I would not recommend it for any other reason. I love it though. I mean, it looks awesome. It is a really cool move. It just sucks. it is not a good move in any form or shape or way, but it's cool. It's like Apocalyptic Burst or Time Space Molotov hits ultimate. I would recommend using or treating it the exact same way as those moves. You are using it to basically disrespect your opponent. Next up, we actually do have a really good move and one of my top 3 ultimates. This is going to be Final Flash Daima. Now, I am using Dark Inscription here to get my bars all the way down to 4 to show you the base amount of damage. Now, I want you to keep something in mind, though. Even though I am firing Final Flash, it actually does more damage the closer you are. I don't plan on showing every single damage output this move can do, because that would just be crazy. I'm just going to show it fully charged and not charged. As you can see, even with just firing it with 4 bars, it does about 16k, which is just a little... Sorry, 15k. So it's about it's exactly the same as a Super Kamehameha. But if I were to fire it with all my bars of ki, it does nearly 40k. I'm not transformed. I'm not using a damage increasing Super Soul. It is just the move with my ki. It does insane amount of damage. I believe for every bar you put into it, it's like 1.5k damage that gets added on. So I mean, for just 2 extra bars at putting it at 6 bars of ki, it'll do like I believe it's like 22k, and it just gets crazier the more ki you put into it. For my next favorite ultimate, we have Super Black Kamehameha. Now for these next 2, I honestly can't pick between which one is my favorite. Now just doing the beam, it gets 10k, which is exactly 1 health bar, and with the fist it's about 11k. Not the most, it's 12k. Not the most damage for a 3-bar ult. We have seen some that are lower and some that definitely do more. It's definitely weaker than regular Super Kamehameha. But even with all that said, you can use this when your opponent has 0 stamina. It generates borderline nothing, and I use this all the time during when limitations on was a big thing. As you can see, it generated about, I want to say, a bar of stamina. So if you use this when they have borderline nothing, they won't get their stamina back after the entire beam hits. So you only give them, for doing about a health bar of damage, they'll only get back 1 evasive. It is an insanely good move. It finishes insanely fast too, so you don't have to worry about just firing it once. You can get it several times during in 1 set stamina break, about twice I think, to 3 times. And as you can see here, now we're on Revenge Death Ball. Firing it with just 3 ki bars only does about 8k. Easily the weakest ki blast ult we have in this game, but you don't use it for just firing it at 3. You want to use it when you've got a lot of stamina. As you can saw just there, adding 1 bar of ki, it basically added 4k damage to it. Now, Revenge Death Ball is kind of unique in the sense that it actually charges faster and does more damage the lower your health is. I believe it charges insanely fast if you're on red health, but basically the move, you want to fire it when you have about max ki, and it will do an insane amount of damage, as I'm going to show you here in just a second. I was using burst charge right here, so that way I could show you, just on the actual amount. I thought that was bugged for a second, but as you can see here, firing it, and you can actually charge it too while the ult's going off, not only makes the bomb get bigger, but do more damage, and it charges faster again the lower your health is. But doing about 32k, it's just an insane move at full power. And as you can see, even without those additional 3 bars, it still does 27k. I mean, this is just an insane move. If any of you have any ults that you'd like to share that are your favorite, either due to a memory or how they look, or just because you use them or you think that they're insane, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, thank you. And I think I'm just getting out of here. We're showing a few combos that you can do without having to break someone's stamina in order to fire it and get it to land. And yeah, I'm going to see you next time.
Thanks for watching.